How we said goodbye in the dark of an evening at that door, I don't say, but I'll tell you this. I could never pass that building again without a lump in my throat and a heavy heart, and I couldn't put you up the best of stocks inside of it, not for £1,000 reward from the Home Secretary and the honour of putting my feet under his mahogany afterwards. But the loneliness in the cart, it wasn't the old loneliness. There was a term put to it, however long. And I could always think to myself, whenever I was anyways down, she belonged to me. I belonged to her. Always planned for her coming back. I bought in a few months' time another cart. What do you think I meant to do with it? Well, I meant to have it fitted up, with shelves and books for her reading, and have a little chair in it where I could sit perhaps and watch her read sometimes and think I've been your first teacher. I did knock together in contriving ways. Under my own inspection, here was a bed in a berth with curtains, and there was a little reading table, and here was a writing desk, and here was our shelves and our books, shelves upon shelves. Pictures and no pictures, bindings and no bindings, gilt edge and plain. Just as I could pick them up in lots up and down the country, north and south and west and east, winds like best and winds like least, here and there, and gone astray and over the hills and far away. And as soon as I got as many books together as the cart would conveniently hold, another idea come into my head. It got me over the 2-year style. Now, without being I can never say this, avaricious character, I like to be the owner of things. I wouldn't like, for example, to go shares with you in the cheap jack cart. I like to think it's my own. Similarly, you'd like to think it's yours. Well, a kind of jealousy come into my head that all these books, you see, have been read by other people long before they'd been read by her. How would it be if she could have a book new made? You know, which she had been the first to read. Oh, that pleased me, that idea did. And how did I hammer that hot iron into shape? I'll tell you, this way. One of the most difficult explanations I'd ever had with Sophie was how I came to be doctor when I was no doctor. We first realised the difficulty we'd fallen into when she asked me for a prescription, thinking I was a doctor from a medical point of view. Well, I thought, if I call this book My Prescriptions, Dr. Marigold's Prescriptions, and she realises that my only prescriptions are for her interest and amusement, to make her laugh in a pleasant way or cry in a pleasant way, it'll be a marvellous proof that we got over that old difficulty. It fell out to absolute perfection. But let me not anticipate. I take that phrase from some of the romances I got for Sophie. I never opened one of them, and I opened a good deal. But I found a romance saying, but let me not anticipate. Which being so, I wonder why I did anticipate. I mean, who asked him? But let me not anticipate. At last, the 2 years' time had gone, after all the time before it. And where's it gone to? Who knows? The cart was finished, yellow outside, relieved with vermilion. A new horse was got, the old one put into the library cart, the new one on the cheap jack cart. I took on a boy, I spruced myself up, and I went to Claymore. Marigold, said the gentleman, giving his hand hearty, I'm very glad to see you. Oh, I dare swear, sir, you're not half as glad to see me as I am to see you. The time has seemed long, has it, Marigold? Don't say that, sir, considering its real length. What a start, he says. And I should think it was. Ah, grown such a woman, so pretty, so intelligent, so expressive. I knew then she must be like my child, or I'd never have known her, standing so quiet by the door. You're affected, says the gentleman. I'm nothing but a rough chap in an old waistcoat. I think, says the gentleman kindly, that it was you who raised her from degradation, brought her into touch with her own kind. Why do we talk alone together? We can speak so well with her. Address her in your own way. just a rough chap. And she stands so quiet by the door. See if she moves at the old sign. They got it up on purpose, just to please me. When I give her the old sign, she rushes towards me, pouring tears of love and joy. She goes down on her knees, I lift her up, she puts her arms around my neck. I don't know what a fool I didn't make of myself. Till we all three settled down to talking in silence together, as if something soft and pleasant had been laid over the whole world for us. All my plans were crowned with success. Happiness went with us as the wheels of the cart went round, and it stopped with us as the wheels of the cart stopped, and I'd left something out of my calculations. I said the sparrow with my bow and arrow. We was in Lancaster. And I'd done 2 nights pretty fair business in the open square there. Mim's travelling giant, otherwise Pickleson was trying on the town. No hint of a van. Green Bay's alcove leading up to Pickleson in an auction room. Printed poster in all the shops, serious handbills everywhere. In port, it was all that it possible to get a grasp of the history of David without seeing Pickleson. Free list suspended. School parties catered for. I went up to that auction room. I found it absolutely empty of everything but echoes and mouldiness, with the single exception of Pickleson, standing on a bit of red drugget. They suited my purpose, because I wanted a private word with him, to wit, Pickleson, owing much happiness to you, I did put you down in my will for a £5 note. But to save trouble, here's 4 put them down, which may equally suit your views, and so let us conclude the transaction. Pickleson, who up to that moment had appeared to be nothing but a long Roman rushlight that would never anyhow get lighted, brightened up at his topmost extremity and gave his acknowledgment in what for him was parliamentary eloquence. But what's more to the present purpose, in the words of the giant, otherwise Pickleston, was, George, I give his words without a hope of conveying their feebleness. Dr. Marigold, who is that strange young man that haunts about your cards? Strange young man, I give him back, thinking his language circulation had dropped a syllable. Dr. Marigold, I may be weak, but I'm not so weak as I don't know my own words. I repeat them. Strange young man. Put me out of humour. It turned out, you see, that Pickleson, before being forced to stretch his legs, not that they needed it, at dead of night, when he couldn't be seen for nothing, spoil the effect, you see, or first thing in the morning before daybreak, had twice seen in that same town of Lancaster, where I've been a couple of nights, this same strange young man. I made light of it to Pickleson, and I took my leave of Pickleson, and I set myself to look out to see him. And what's more, I saw the strange young man. He was well dressed and well looking, and he loitered very nigh my carts as if he was taking care of them like. Just before daybreak he turned, went away. Well, we had to go to Carlisle in a couple of hours. Next morning, I looked out, I did not see him, but the next morning, there he was again. Just before daybreak, he turned away, and I'll give him a hail! He never turned round, nor looked in the least ways disturbed. So I watched him at various times, various places, too numerous to mention. Of course, I discovered this same strange young man, he was deaf and dumb. Turned me over.